We are live. Tell a friend. Got the trades. 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on the Pro 41 channel. This is a new way I'm going to be starting the show. I'm going to start the show with the logo. Take that back. And let's see who's going to tune in. This is going to be a great show today. We're going to have a special guest, and we're going to talk about the history or the timeline of Powermoves. I don't know if this discussion has ever happened before, and if it has, I haven't heard of it. And since here in the Pro 41 channel, we do care about history, we do care about the lineage, we do care about tradition. It'd be nice to talk about this that no one's ever really talked about. So we're gonna go start the show in about 2 minutes. I'm gonna let people come in. We got one viewer. If you are in the chat, let us know where you're coming from. Let us know your name, what city, what country, and what crew. Or if you have any questions for our guests, let us know right here on the trades. All right. We're going to start in about 1 minute. 1 minute. Let me know in the chat where you're from and what questions you got for the guest. I'm putting in the chat. Are you ready for power moves? Whoops, I misspelled that. Power moves. All right. Let us know where you're from. And again, before we go on, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to have Break Battle Royale. I'm going to be doing a post right after this show. So if you want to compete, I'll be writing down Ray Gun's PayPal. And if you want to enter the Break Battle Royale, we had a really good Break Battle Royale last week, Tuesday. This time we're going to be on every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. East Coast time. All right. Okay. So just tell a friend. Remember, this is the trades. We're going to start very soon in 30 seconds. Just to let you guys know, if you have any questions for the guest, let me know. And I'm about to start the show right now. This video has been brought to you by Break Connect. Go to the website and register. Check out what they have to offer at breakconnect.com. Yo, what's up? This is Shadow Rock and Pro 41 of the Floor Gangs and Knuckleneck Tribe. And you're watching The Trades, the show about breaking, hip-hop, and the business of. How's everyone doing? We were live last week on Tuesday, and that was for the Break Battle Royale, a new show here on the Pro 41 channel. We used to do it on Instagram, but now we're doing it on YouTube because actually the production level is a lot better. This is where you could head-to-head. You call in, we send a link on the chat. You call in, you battle who's there, and the crowd votes. Super interactive. I don't think it's really been done on YouTube. It might have been. I mean, when it was COVID, people were doing it, but the difference was like instead of judges, we had the crowd vote or the chat vote, which makes it really fun. So again, tune in tomorrow. I'll be promoting it tonight, right? And we're gonna tune in on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right. So before we get started with the show, we gotta basically do some housekeeping. First of all, 89% of you are not subscribed. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Basically, you're helping me out. For those who subscribe, I got to 1,000. I need about 3,000 sit hours before getting monetized. But I noticed in my analytics that 89% of you are not subscribed. You're helping me out, but it'd be better if you subscribe. That way you can help the show out. We could up the production level. I could get a better camera, maybe get a better mic, maybe have a better location, and it just helps out the show. And if you're enjoying the content, you might as well subscribe anyway. Click the bell for notifications and hit that subscribe. So that's that thing. Now, the next thing is give a shout out to our sponsor. Zenworld.com, Zenworld CBD. If you're not familiar with CBD, CBD is from the cannabis plant, but it's a non-psychoactive, so you don't get that head high. But what CBD is good for is it has healing properties such as for inflammation. And being a 47-year-old b-boy and not being as young as you guys, the average age is 19. The average b-boy and b-girl age is 19, and you guys repair like that. You know, you regenerate cells faster than someone like me that's middle age. So what I like to use is CBD. Now, ZenWorld has a product called the Nano Drops. You know, one drop of this you put in your coffee, sports drink, your water. Basically, it helps with inflammation and anxiety. But if you don't want to ingest it, you could always use the roll-on. So this works like an icy hot, but the key ingredient, right? You can still get that warm massage feeling, but the key ingredient is the CBD, which basically, again, helps with inflammation. So you can get all of that at Zenroll.com. And if you use the promo code PROFOWON, PROFOWON, you get 10% off. So why not save money as your rest, repairing, and regenerating? All right. So, okay. Basically, you know, here in the trades, we've done a lot of guests that basically care about history, you know. That being said, like someone like Po One, we had Po One talk about his history. We talked to Linsky. He talked about the Boston history. He talked about that on the Gearheads podcast, but I was still related to it. Even myself, I've done a Bay Area history as far as breaking, right, and even had DJ Shortcut. We talked about the DJ scene here in the Bay Area in the Filipino communities from the late 70s, early 80s to the 90s, or even early 2000s. But, you know, as I've talked about footwork, as I've talked about, you know, New York history, the thing that we haven't done in this channel is we haven't really talked about power moves. And I am going to be honest. I'm not, you know, I know a thing or two, right? But, you know, as far as footwork, I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I do my homework. But as far as power moves, I'm very general, right? I'm very general, which is still actually more than most, to be honest. And I'm, you know, not to throw too much shade, but it is shade that for those who complain about like there's too much power moves and this and that and the scene and they don't know footwork, whatever, they can't tell me where these moves are from. You know what I'm saying? So just like with the footwork, why am I going to stop with just that? We got to talk about the evolution of power moves, because at this point, it's next level already. We're starting to get to next levels. And these are well-rounded B-boys and B-girls, yet their history only goes up to 2009, to be honest, because they're only watching their heroes. But they don't realize how they got their style, or how they innovated moves, and who did they see before that, and the people they saw before that. And that's the whole point of the trades, right? We're trying to document and curate a lot of this information. So hailing from Santa Cruz, California, right? We got my man B-Boy Shonsky, and he's here to talk about the history of power moves. All right. What up, Sean? How you doing?
Yo, what's happening, man? I'm doing
Yeah,
good.
dude.
Yourself?
Yeah, man. Really good. So I wanted to just tell the audience the story how I got you on. Basically, you've been around the Bay Area scene for like how long? Since 2009? Like, meaning like when you moved up to San Francisco, to be
Yeah,
exact.
so I moved out here in 2011,
Okay.
and like probably since like 97, I've been coming back and forth. I started b-boying in 96,
Right.
and within a year of that, I started coming up to the Bay Area to actually like meet some of the dudes who were coming through Santa Cruz. A lot of guys would come from, San Jose, uh, sometimes even as far as Antioch. I remember, or like Pittsburgh area. I remember a cat Crisco,
Right. Yes.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
from
Crisco.
up
Yeah.
that way came
Right.
through, and just so. Anyways, that's when I started dabbling and like making friends from the South Bay, and then from '99 onward, I was driving up constantly to jams in San Jose and SF, and then finally made the move up here in 2011.
Right. So I brought people. If you're wondering why I brought Shonsky on, well, since that time, I didn't really get to like talk to you and have a conversation with you until maybe I would say at the very most like 5 years ago. Like I would see
Yeah.
you around, right? I see you at sessions, right? I'd see you at different places, different jams, different events. But just being, the small community that it is, right? You're gonna happen to like have conversations.
Right.
And the thing is, like, and especially when, especially when you're coming up, when the competition seems bigger now than ever it was. I think what's going on is a transformation of us getting older, because there used to be this divide, right? Like, oh, if you only do this style, trick you, blah 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 blah, right?
Right.
But then, like, what most people don't realize when it comes to breaking, I'm an open book, right? I like to have these discussions because I'm a person that likes to learn. Like my whole
Yeah.
thing is like, if you stop learning, once you stop learning, you stop growing. If you stop growing and become stagnant, then you just stay in one place. Versus like, hey, if you open your mind, it might lead to like bettering your expertise more than you if you were just to stay in your, let's say, your skill set. To grow and expand will actually give more to like maybe you're like, I'm a power move guy, but I realize that if my power gets better, my footwork gets better, and like kind of like vice versa and stuff like that. So we start having conversations, and realize that you're a lot like me. You're like, as a historian, you like to like basically know the why.
Yes.
And how did this happen? Why and how did this happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is where I can mirror, like, that's how I feel about footwork. But you're like one of the only other people that I knew that like I saw all the time that talked about the history of like power moves, right? And I could relate to some of it, and and you would ask some of these things because I was there at certain moments, right? Like certain historical moments, I was there. So instead of like you're just watching it on YouTube or you watch it on VHS, right? You want to hear like the stories. And the thing is, I started to realize, as I had conversations with you, that you knew certain stories that I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's why, you're here.
Thank you, man. And it's just where the interest lies, right? So like there's people that could run circles around me with power moves and power combos. But as an actual practitioner of power moves and what I aspire to get even today, I found that a lot of these guys that even excelled beyond anything I could ever hope to do didn't have the slightest idea where these moves came from. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
I was just like baffled by that, because there'd be people that I'd like idolize that were the creators of these moves, or maybe not even the creators,
yeah.
We'll get into as we move along the timeline. We'll get into like the source, at least as far back as I can trace it and have it documented.
Yeah. I think that's, and that's one thing too. It's like, shout out to Junks from Korean Rock. He puts out stuff on YouTube and Instagram, and he's an amazing archaeologist. Like like that's the best way to put it. He's an archaeologist, right? He's a video archaeologist, and he'll pull out some practice footage that maybe no one else had. Yeah. And somehow he has connections, and it's great. But the challenge is the context, right?
Yes.
Because it's all about maybe who's popular at the time.
Right.
But then even for me, like, doing research, I would hear of names I'd never heard of because they were never like maybe in movies, especially if it was in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
So I'd hear names like I wouldn't see footage of, right? So it's like, and sometimes there is footage and they're being YouTube. There's probably stuff that we don't even like. There might be footage stuff that's been done, that's documented, but we don't have access to it, right? So all we're doing is giving a narrative now, right? With some of a lot of the names you're going to see today, already, but some you might not even heard of and not even realize, the whole timeline. So we're going to get started first. I didn't bring up any pictures because there's no pictures. Gosh, give a shout out to my man Pluto from TBB. And we'll start with the very first. You know, we could say swipes. Swipes are considered power moves, right? Like, you know, it was said that Spy was the first one to do swipes. He did swipes from his top rock to go to transition into his footwork, right? Then at the same time, with Star Child of Rock, with track 2, you know, he talked about doing circles because he took gymnastics and he did circles into his footwork. You know, but those moves have been kind of done, not in the context of breaking, but they have been done. Like there's this video from the 30s where I forgot. Give a shout out to Dr. Derek Cologne. He talks about it a lot. Where the caravan video from the 30s or the 40s, where it's like from buck dancing and tap dancing and Lindy Hop, they're doing swipes, right? They're like kind of doing swipes, yeah. So that's already been done. But the thing that is different that Pluto pointed out, and we're going to start the timeline from there. I don't have any video references because there's no video. Is Robbie Robb, I believe from Rock City, who was in the same crew as Frosty Freeze, and he created the chair freeze. And to Pluto's narrative, this is the thing that set off the trajectory of everything, right?
Wow.
So his whole thing, which is kind of understood, because this is like, because I asked him, you know, was the chair freeze before the baby freeze? And he said yes. The chair freeze was actually before the baby freeze. So if that's the case, the chair freeze that led to baby led to something like turtles, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That led to, you know, for Crazy Legs, you know, it was his way, and he said it in Star Wars. I should have pulled that clip up, but I mean, because it's like it's there. Like, you know, he always says like they all bit the way I get into backspins was from that. So basically, a chair freeze is like if it's chair, and it makes sense because if you're maybe doing Zulu spins, you kind of you catch it. You're not gonna catch it to a baby. You're gonna catch it with momentum and then stopping, and then the baby came if you reverse it and come back to the front, right?
Yep.
And that's where probably turtles and that being from supposedly Powerful Pexter from Floor Masters create turtles, right? And he said on video that he taught Buck 4, right? And Buck 4 was the turtle master, right? Like he considers himself the turtle master, right? So, and then at the same time, Crazy Legs doing his way going into the backspin, which led to continuous backspins, which led to windmills.
Exactly.
Right. So now we're talking about 79, 80, 81, right?
Yep.
So that means we don't have any video of that. Well, there's Star Wars and stuff like that.
Right.
Before we move on, we got DJ Renegade. He says swipes are not power moves because you touch your feet on the floor. Discuss. Some people consider it a power move.
Oh man.
But to be factual, Spy did use it for his drop, right? Give a shout out to DJ Renegade. So so before we get into the video footage, right? Sure. So what do you think about that kind of like narrative? Because this is like this is kind of like still in the works, right? Because if I were to get Pluto in here, he could probably get more exact. So would you consider swipes power moves?
Oh man, yeah, this one comes up a lot. So my short answer is yes, in a way, because it's not a move I do, and it's not a move that I feel me coming up out here during the generation that I did. There was very few people that I saw going for swipes, right? Actually, even though maybe Renegade was joking or half joking, I don't know, but the kind of idea that I was groomed, or like the philosophy for power moves that I was groomed to kind of believe and play into was, you know, feet don't touch the ground, at least not on purpose.
You're right there with Renegade. You know, but I mean, that's some classical Cali mentality, right? Like right. Don't touch your feet.
Right. But that said, and this gets into my personal history a little bit in my journey of trying to learn more about breaking. I, believe it or not, growing up as close to the Bay as I did, I actually had more access to European videos. I'll get into that later. But in a long story short, local skate shop was buying graffiti mags from Europe, and the same distributor that was selling those mags to them was also selling B-boy tapes by, you know,
Right.
Battle of the Year
Yeah.
and all the Battle Squad stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, so I was seeing a lot of swipes. And I think even some like tap mills and stuff, if I look back into,
Oh yeah,
you know,
shout out to Emilio.
like, yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And not just him, but, you know, if you look at Battle of the Year, they got crews from, you know, all these different countries. Right. And
Yeah.
so anyways, so in that respect, and they would be putting them mixed in with, you know, flares, headspins, halos, etc.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that way, yes, I think they are a power move because they would link and have the same momentum. If you look at my man, Croc, B-Boy Croc, Turkish cat who grew up out in Germany, Battle of the Year 96, one of my first videos, he was doing these extra long, almost like 20 move combos. I mean, it was up there with like Jazzy J or B-Boy Special from Suicidal Lifestyle. These just extremely long combos, you would almost go to sleep. You know, I mean, except you were pumped up and excited.
Ibrahim was the guy too that did. Ibrahim would do a lot of long combos, right?
Ibrahim too. It was like Croc was up there with all of them, and you know, so shout out to him. I don't know if the global community recognizes that name or knows who he is.
And this is why we have you on.
Thanks.
So like, I think, and it's crazy because now Renegade's watching and he's probably gonna be like, wait, how does this guy know about Croc?
Yeah.
So like Renegade says, I like this guy, nice energy. All right, shout out.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
So we're already getting into it, right? We're already in the 90s.
Yeah,
we're already talking
about
the 90s, right?
So yeah.
Let's get started. We're gonna go with and just before I go with that too, what I want to demonstrate to how thorough Shonsky is. He showed me his I'm going to show you guys what he sent me right here. Boom. He sent me this whole list of videos and what to look at, just to look forward to what we're going to have today. He sent me 28 clips, right? We're not going to go through them, right? This is this is an hour and a half show.
Yeah.
But this is a guide. Like, and this is how thorough Shonsky is, just to let you guys know, just to show how serious, right? Just to show how serious he is. You know what I mean? And I looked at it and I was like, because he said it today. I thought I was gonna like, you know, have a good time to sit with them. Like, holy crap, how am I gonna
apologize for that, man? Yeah.
No, but this is good because at least I have the guide, and then I have all the tabs open already.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go. So we're gonna pick and choose, and we're gonna try to give a good timeline. The tabs are lined up in the timeline, so that's what's good too. So we're gonna go in and out. We might go in and out of certain things. Sure. But the first clip that you bring up, and I'm going to bring up right now, is you brought up a jump clip, right? Because this is the earliest footage so far on this timeline that we're doing right now.
Yeah,
right.
Where we're coming from. I'll add some context to it, but let's go ahead.
And so we're not going to play the music because of copyright. You know what I'm saying? Even though I mean, I'm not making money yet, but I would like to and it'll be better to like just talk about stuff. Let me bring this up. I'm going to put pause on it real quick. And the first clip, we got Junk and the evolution of air flare on YouTube. But the difference is that we're starting with Icy Ice, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's stop right there. Icy Ice doing the Ninja Freeze or 360, right? An over-rotated swipe. But then it goes into this clip, which is Freddie Fresh, and this is the clip that we wanted us to watch, right? Correct?
Yeah. This was what I was aiming for originally, but go ahead.
Okay. So we're going to just go back a little bit and go to Icy Ice, and then we're going to go to Freddie Fresh. So let me go back here, and let's play that, and let's zoom in on that. So right here, that's the thing you're talking about, right?
Yeah. So right before, like, if you don't look close enough, and, you know, I had to watch it several times on a different Magnificent Force clip, which I also shot you a link to.
Right.
Where, you know, some people might not quite catch that he actually hits the stomach and bounces off like a chair track, right?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. I thought he was just doing a spindle flare. But you're saying no.
But
okay, let's watch that. Let's watch that. Let's bring that up.
Go to a quarter speed. and see what you see, you know.
All right, let me see. Okay, let's go back to that. And actually, I'll pause it too. I think that might be
Sure.
even better. You know what I mean? So let's go back to the so that's Icy Ice. So Freddy Fresh is right here. So right. So you're saying he stabbed right before, right?
Yeah, and it might not be like the flattest turtle freeze stab per se,
Right
but if
there.
you watch
Okay.
it quarter
I
speed,
see. Yeah.
you can
Okay.
kind of see he's bending where if it wasn't a
Right.
flare, or
Yeah.
sorry, if it was a flare, he wouldn't have bent the elbow like that.
Right. I just noticed it. Let's see if I can do that. Let's see if I can go quarters. See if I can do YouTube magic right now. How do you do that again?
You hit the gear, and then it'll be
Okay.
settings towards the bottom.
Okay, cool. And then let's do
unless playback speed, right? And it's
yeah.
up at normal, so you can just do quarter
Okay. So that's let's
towards the
go.
top.
Oh, this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Boom. All right, let's watch it. Watch it right here. Oh, whoops. Boom. Let's do that one more time.
Yeah.
Let's do that one more time. And this is 1984.
Three.
Right?
Oh, yeah, four. My
Boom.
bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. You just saw it. All right. Cool.
You can see like he drops in slightly, and then you see when the actual hands leave the ground. It's when he's on the upshot.
Right.
You know.
And so that's very big because this is a move that's used today.
Yeah.
But you know, probably the earliest, and no one references this, and we don't have the video, but I remember Jeremiah from Rock Force doing it in '97.
Yes.
Wicked does it in
yes.
1999 freestyle
Very
session.
Rocksteady anniversary as well.
Yeah. Okay. Think, yeah.
He does multiple, maybe a little later. And I think it may have started even, and again, you know, I'm learning all this stuff through videos, but I know he would do like Halo Freeze and then kind of do the ninja like off of almost like a chair track, but then land in the ninja.
Right. Yeah.
Now, what's funny about that same clip on the evolution of the air flare, if you look at the second Magnificent Force clip I send you, you'll see that. Okay, cool. So we see Icy Ice actually, Jung, you know, Korean Rock highlighted the swipe to ninja, or kind of like the pump to the ninja, right?
Right.
But Icy Ice also had this chair track to almost like a body glide or a belly flop kind of thing. But he would execute it really smooth.
Yeah. Let's go to that right now. So we're going to, this is Icy Ice now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's good you gave me the reference time code, because
I
was like,
exactly. I tried to lay it out as best I could, man.
All right, so let's see this real quick right here. Icy Ice.
Yeah.
And he's going for footwork.
You'll see it.
Ah, okay, right there. Got it. Boom. All right. So now this is the funny thing is, like, that's the same crew. That's a different guy, same crew.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's something else I also want to get into a little bit later as well, you know. But this is what I think is interesting in this case is like this move has proliferated, even though these videos might not have gotten around to like some of the other things I referenced. There's other people doing similar movements, right? So, you know, one of the guys in Glasgow City Breakers in 84, 85 is doing the same thing. But I don't know if this footage was really out there like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just goes to show that there's a lot of people, I think, globally, you know, and we're just scratching the surface with this video.
Right.
But they're like, oh, windmill, kind of combine a flare. Oh, I'm just going to jump and see what happens. You know, and I think that's happening just in more places than we could ever imagine.
Right. So, okay. So we were off the bat. We already started off the bat with an advanced move that's being done now. But we've showed the receipts of basically 84, around 83, 84.
Yeah.
Documented as 84 online. But again, when we're watching this on Instagram, we're just scrolling. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Instead of we're giving a narrative, right?
Right.
We went from Robbie Rob to Track 2, Powerful Pexter, Crazy Legs. Now and that being the extension of TBB, Batch and
Mhm.
TBB, which is Powerful Pexter, Crazy Legs, right?
Mhm.
Like, and then they became, Rocksteady and Floor Masters, right? And then, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, we're seeing this timeline. All right. So, and this is an advanced move already. We're not even talking about super basic. This is
Well,
like,
yeah,
go for
yeah.
it.
And actually I kind of wanted to start there.
Okay.
Because I think we take for granted in the 80s, like if you look at stuff like Breaking and Entering
Yeah.
or Beat Street, Wild Style Wars, the Malcolm McLaren video, we've already seen backspins. We've seen people do drilled head spins. We've seen people do turtles. And what I kind of wanted to start off here with was that air air power moves, meaning the power moves that were going in the air. I know in East Coast, back in the day, they were calling power moves, or what we understand to be power moves today, being called air moves, right? But I'm
Right.
talking about like the power moves that actually hands and feet leave the ground.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
now we're going to move off that, but this is just kind of, I think, something that when I started in '96, I would have imagined that people were hopping from one hand to another back in '83 based on the few references I could get of the '80s footage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the sidewalk breakers, wait till we get to that part, because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it
So
gets nuts.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking at this thing. So I'm gonna skip some of this stuff. Let's go to Air Force in 80,
Six, 85,
84.
86, maybe.
84. Let's go to
Okay.
84.
Okay.
Let's go
Yep.
to, let's see if I got this. Let's see if I get this clip right. Skip the commercial.
Yeah.
Um, okay. I think the Venice Beach stuff. No, that's 94, right?
No, that's mislabeled. I think it's 84.
Okay, and this
Yeah.
is this where let's watch this one real quick.
Yeah.
Is this the 90?
Has 90. Orco does a 90 and does a windmill 90, but
Oh,
that
okay.
was
All right. All right, let's watch
the
that.
earliest windmill 90 I could find.
And this is not the practice footage at Radiotron, right? This is the Venice Beach.
This is Venice Beach. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's because I'm going around, I gotta look for the that's 108. All right. Cool. Let me pull that up real quick.
Yeah.
We're gonna go here, and then we're gonna go to 1 minute 08, and we're gonna see this move right here. Let's go. All right, so this is Orko right here, right?
Yep.
All right, 90. Okay. Rainbow or Valdez. Windmill. 90. All right. Okay.
So
right there. That's okay. That's 84.
yeah.
Crazy.
Now he may have done better. This is just something documented from that early on,
Right.
where there's a clear windmill 90 attempt.
And here's the thing: this is the same time as Beat Street. Basically, this is the same time as Beat Street.
Exactly.
Which is what I mean, like maybe no one. I don't know. Maybe people were doing this. Maybe Incredible is doing this.
Right.
But as far as documentation,
yeah.
Right.
And all this, just for the record, like, not that I don't believe any of what has been said. I totally take these people at their word.
Right.
And this is what I could curate from YouTube.
Right.
And I've received a heap of tapes from the Hype Twins in Australia. God knows what's on all of them, because I'm still transferring them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's stuff that I have to really look at with my 42-year-old eye that I might have missed when I was 15 years old in my collection, even, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
I mean, that makes sense, because there is that story that the Twins went to LA, they went to Radiotron.
Oh, so sorry.
Okay, go for it.
Johnny Duell from Melbourne. Now, just real quick for the Australians.
Let's do this. Let's do this. That's why you're here.
Okay, Duel's a very important figure for this, just in general, in the hip hop scene and Melbourne and Graph. So he had a little farming accident, as I understand it. Got some settlement money for it. Was into hip hop at the time in '85, and took a trip to LA. You know, he's like, I'm into this hip hop thing. I came into some cash. I'm gonna go to USA, right?
Okay.
And found this is so crazy, you know.
Right.
Went to like a phone booth, found the Radiotron phone number or something, and called Radiotron from a payphone. Ozrock picked up and
Wow.
was like,
okay.
you know, and Johnny Duel was like, hey, I want to practice. And basically he became friends with the members of Air Force that were still there at the time. I believe it was '85, and I think by this time Caesar was not there, but he met Ozrock, I think Little Lewis, Patrick, or Airmaster. Oh man, sorry, Johnny. I have to talk to him about that more.
Yeah, and in the background, I'm having like Radiotron in the background, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Caesar,
So he made friends with some of those guys, came back, went back to Cali 2 years later, if I remember right, and got a tape from this dude, Ronnie, who was the manager of Air Force Crew. And at that time in '87, he brought that tape back to Melbourne. And then the Twins and B-Boy All-Stars, who were really active at the time in '87, the Twins barely just moved to Brisbane, but Peter Frickman, very important guy. There's a clip of him later. And this other cat, Little Jade, I think, went down, and it's like 10 or 12, 14 hours by bus, some crazy journey. These guys went down to Duel's house, got a hold of the tape, and there's a whole nother story, but we don't have that much time.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Anyway,
but to bring that up, like a lot of people don't even know. You know, we're gonna bring them later on.
Sure.
The Twins and the Australia, and you know that influence as well. All right.
Yeah.
So,
Duel in Melbourne brought that LA tape, made Air Force like a name to know and recognize throughout Australia because of that. So
right, crazy. That's dope, right there. See, this is what I'm saying. Like now that I've had conversations, but this is the first time I'm having a conversation where it's online now. You know, people can actually access it, right? Because we, you know, for those who don't know about the Rapid Fire Twins, right, in Brisbane, like, you know, we're gonna get there. We're like,
we will.
We're going through 28 clips.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm gonna skip a bunch because I'm gonna go for this move right here. This move is the move that I'm trying to like. Right now, like we had a conversation about it.
Yes.
And the thing is that, you know, maybe it wasn't as important back in the 80s, and maybe people have done it, but I think the thing that we're going to talk about right now is, and he's been talked about recently, is Skilroy. Like we're going to go for, this is by your research, this is the first time, the earliest of what they call a hurricane, which most people still can't do. Yeah. But the people that can do it, it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna pull up that clip from Skilroy. Shout out to Skilroy, 56 years old, still battling. Come on.
Dude, yeah.
Come on. All right. So let's play Skilroy right now. Holy crap. All right. That was super quick, but let's play that again. You know what? I haven't even seen this footage, you know, like with it, like, you know, it's usually him doing back rocks and stuff, but not the hurricane. Right here from a sweep too. Boom. Wow. Okay. Wow. That's a lot.
And
that's a lot.
We want to talk about, you know, real quick, like the significance of that, right? Because that's 83, 84. I forgot exactly how early on it is, but it's crazy to think that, again, I thought coming up in '96 that was like a contemporary move, something that was floating around in my generation. We also had like elbow flares being a thing as well. So I thought it just kind of worked in with that. You know what I mean? And Rock Force was a real big crew name at the time, definitely, especially for us in the Bay, and or close to it, close enough to it. And Jeff was like just murking those every which way. And if you look at Best of the Best 6, I mean, he got, I forget how many rounds, he must have been quarterfinals or semis or something. And you were at that jam, so you can tell me better.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of opportunities to pull that move out and just like make it known to the world. I had no idea it could be traced back to him.
So here's another theory, because I've seen people do it in Florida. I saw it at Pro Am 99, and the guys, someone from Street Masters, is either Stiff Rock or Pee Wee. I forgot. It's one of the Street Masters. They do it in the West Coast, East Coast battle, right? And the thing is, who's a name that we haven't talked about yet in the 80s is Kid Freeze.
Yes,
and you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep.
Kid Freeze is the first one to do continuous head spins, right?
Right.
And from what I hear, is Street Masters is his crew.
Yes.
So kind of might be that lineage of Kid Freeze. You know what I mean? Kid Freeze doing it in the 80s. We don't know, because maybe, again, it might be the 100th monkey theory of people just doing it, coming along to it anyway.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. And so, none of this is to diminish the other contributions of other pioneers. This is just, again, YouTube, for the sake of the discussion and opening it up, right? And hopefully a constructive discussion.
Yeah.
Which is, who brought these moves to your scene? You know what I mean?
Right.
And who are the unsung heroes? So also Speedy from Battle Squad was doing them this way as opposed to this way. Or sorry, for the Hurricane, right?
Right.
Just like Skilroy's style there. Swift Rock also did them like this. But then you got Mario in Japan in the later 80s doing them with the diamond style.
Right.
And then just one last name I want to drop, Sway, my man Sway.
Shout out Sway.
Yeah. Floor Rockers / Renegades for a bit, or however that worked out. He did a version in Best of the Best 5. He was going for the Hurricane, but it didn't look like the diamond shape. It actually looked like he was holding his head like this.
Yeah.
And did it like this.
Right.
Which, and when I talked to him actually a couple weeks ago, I messaged him and I was like, yo, were you trying to flip it? Or he's like, no, I was doing it like the dude from Japan, Mario. I think if I'm not getting it twisted, that's how he said it. And I was like, oh, but it looked, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's cool, these kind of hybrid or I guess how different shapes happen for the same move.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, no. And this is what I'm saying. Again, you're going for like the advanced movements. We're not, like I said, we didn't even talk about Kid Freeze yet, right? You know what I mean? Like
no.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's important that we refer to these, like, and if we were, like I said, these are the things I just like, damn, I should have footage of Kid Freeze ready. But again, we're having a conversation.
On my channel, I do have from the Mr. Freeze video, at the end, there's a session that features Kid Freeze in it. And actually, now that you bring it up, I think he actually does do a Hurricane in there.
No way.
I think this shape.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm just going off my memory. I haven't watched that clip in a long time. I just kind of posted it and left it. But I think that adds credibility to what you heard from Pee Wee and them.
Yes, Street Masters. But yeah, again, that's what I'm saying. Again, we have these conversations, but this is the first time we're actually documenting the conversation.
Exactly, I know.
Right? You know what I mean? And which is like for those who are just tuning in, like, like a lot of people don't know a lot of people's history right now. If you are 25 right now, that means in 2013 you were 15. So you're old school. You might have looked at footage from 2005 and be like, damn, that's old school.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So
and we're pulling out. We still haven't even got to the 90s yet. We're still at the 80s.
I know it'll speed up. It'll speed up. This is just kind of like foundation of
right.
Power moves and the combos.
Yeah. So be careful who you call biting if you only started in 2000. Because we already pull out receipts from like freaking 83, dude.
Yeah.
So who's really biting? Or were you lined up in thought and creation?
I like that.
Because, you know what I mean? Because the whole thing is, these are archive videos that some random people just put on the internet because they had footage from the 80s versus like they're historians like, well, they, I'm trying to prove something. Right? Yeah.
Right.
So, okay, give a shout out to Dial Tone from AOM, Seattle represent. Big ups, y'all. Thanks for sharing. Hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. Since we got Renegade on, who said, I like this guy. Nice energy. He's from the UK. Just for brownie points, we're going to pull up some footage from England.
Yeah, please.
All right. Yeah, so we got right here, I already set it up as we were talking, is this one. Electro Rock event. And lined up, we have describe what's going on here.
So, well, here I'll let the clip run real quick. Oh, okay. So we got Patrick Booth from Broken Glass coming up in, I think, right after this.
Right.
Or maybe in a moment. I might have got the timestamp wrong. Yeah, right after this.
Right.
Doing circles to flares.
Ah, okay. Dude, clean, bro.
Really clean.
What? Whoa, wait, and what was that?
he threw in the little nut grab too.
Dude, wait a second. Hold on. Let's get this back in picture. I got too excited with just that because right now, as we speak, we seen like Luigi do a variation of that, just grabbing his head. Even though this is nothing new, it's kind of like, I'm sure a lot of the 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds go like, wow, Luigi's so original.
Yeah.
But yet, we just saw, and that's 85. Right, that's 85.
Is it 85?
It says 85 on the clip. Right, that's 85. So let's go back a little bit, and we said it was 44. Oh, right here. Right, it's right here.
Right after they pan to the girl or pan off of her.
It's right here. And who's this again?
Patrick Booth. I don't know his breaking name if he has one, but
look at that! Boom. Okay, let's go back. Now, again, like I said, and someone maybe like Lee from Ruggeds right now might do something like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Here. Oh, well, anyway.
But you see it. No, you see it, and I, in trying to find more information of this guy, because I did have a chance to go to England last year, as you know, in springtime. I didn't get to make my way up to Manchester, which is north of England quite a ways, or well, at least by train, public transport and all that. So, I didn't get to meet him or talk to anybody from up north. But from what I could find, I did find this most random Facebook post about like a little news article that was kind of scanned or whatever. And I think he was doing some young Olympics or trying to go for the Olympic something or other around that time, which is why he had the circles. And then in the next clip that's on there in 85, 86, you see him combine these mills up to the circles to the flares.
Wow. Crazy.
So, gymnast moves, but applied to b-boying by adding, the windmill to it and the concept of combos. Right. So anyways.
And again, like I said, like circles is not new because obviously they've been doing it in gymnastics. And again, shout out to Track 2 because he said he implemented it into his footwork. Right. Shout out to Track, creator of a lot of moves.
Definitely.
So we've seen circles before, what people call virgin flares. For those b-boys out there, for gymnasts, it's circles. I should have said straight leg flares or virgin flares, right? For those b-boys and b-girls that like that move. I'm going to skip some of that stuff, but this one while you're talking, I just previewed this to set this clip up.
Yeah.
And I'm blown away actually.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm like, how did you find this?
Yeah.
First of all, how did you find this? You are, we talk about Junk being a
Yeah.
video archaeologist, bro. Like I gotta say that,
Thanks, brother.
uh, this one is good. And here's the thing, Glasgow, like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this is what year?
85. Well, so there's even an 84 clip. This just was a slightly better quality of it and a better angle that you could really see.
All right. I just previewed this as we were talking.
It's wild,
and I was
man.
just like, huh? Okay.
You should do the quarter speed on this. Try to do the quarter speed.
Okay, so 1 second. Well, let's see this real quick though. And after this, right here. What the hell, man? Wait, did I just going back? Okay, we're gonna hit the quarter. How did you find this?
So yeah.
Like,
so again, just going down the rabbit hole, man. And when I befriended this crew, Second to None, recently.
Right. Shout out to Second to None.
Yes, huge shout out to them. And in doing my research, learning more about them, learning about Evo,
right,
as well, diving deeper into what I knew of him, because I knew him from my first Battle of the Year '96 tape. He entered with a crew called Floor Freaks, and then '97 he was one of the judges of Battle of the Year. Right.
Okay, let's watch it real quick. So it's slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, windmill
picks up. I mean, he's going. That's an air flare.
Throws over. What the hell?
That's a legit air flare. Like,
yo, you just pulled out a gem.
Yeah.
And this is, this is the great thing. You're pulling out your age, right? You're showing your age.
Yeah,
right? Because right now, if I ask anyone to pull out an air flare, they're gonna maybe not even. They might pull out Pablo. Like right now, they might pull out Pablo, but we're still talking person that's 35.
Yeah, exactly.
Let alone if you're like 23, you're gonna pull out like, girl from China. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You're gonna pull out like, like Mace.
Right.
But you literally dug in the crates and Glasgow from 85 to 90 when breaking was dead. That's insane, bro.
So that's the other thing. So real quick. So just because my interest in trying to dig and find out who was doing what at the time, because Second to None was really advanced, at least through those dark ages. And, from when breaking kind of slowed down, they kept grinding all the way till it picked back up. And they're still getting down today. And they're in their 50s, like regularly. Okay.
Right.
So in doing that, jumped into, okay, well, where's Evo at? Oh, he's way north. Oh, when he came back, he got down with these guys, Brian and Archie, and created this crew, Floor Freaks. And they're from where? Glasgow, Scotland. You know what I'm saying? And so, then I started digging, well, what else is out there? Oh, they were part of a bigger crew. You know what I mean? So I couldn't tell you who that is. I haven't dug it deep enough on there. But in this whole clip, I mean, they got multiple flares, really high windmills, just stuff like this.
Right.
Windmill air flare. It's just wild.
This is because I've heard 95, right? You've heard of people doing air flare 95, and it was fair enough, right?
Yeah.
But pre 90s, or exactly in the beginning of the 90s when people like us were like, how many windmills you got? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
And these guys are like freaking doing air flares already. You know what I'm saying? So let's one more time.
Yep.
I'm gonna do this for the gram right here. I need to do a narrative this narrative right here, real slow. Set this up. Boom. Once again, 1985 or between the 85 or 90, someone from Glasgow, Scotland, right?
Yep.
Doing an air flare. Holy crap. Sir, you've done your research, sir. you've done, you've
Thanks,
done,
brother. Yeah.
yo, shout out to Shonsky for finding that. Yo, give it up, bro. Like, you just
Yo.
smoke. I'm sorry, Korean Junks, I love you.
No,
But
no.
Shonsky just smoked Korean rock right now.
No, he's just been waiting. He's probably been sitting on that clip for years, man. And
I
just,
don't know. I haven't seen it. Let me know in the chat before we move on. Dalto says, hella dope. Scarface shouts out, says big ups to you and Sean.
Yo, thanks,
And
Scar.
he gives the
brother.
medals right there. And Scarface says, dropping gems, man. Dude. Yeah. All right. So I'm telling you, man, this guy has a list, bro. And I was a little I'll be honest, guys. I was overwhelmed when he sent it to me. I was like, how am I going to search through all this stuff? Like, and here's the thing. I'm not even showing everything. This guy lined up 28 clips from YouTube. And, a lot of them are just like markers for one move. But there's some things in here. He gave 3 or 4 markers for different moments in one video. So even though it's 28 clips, we can estimate it to like 34 movements that have been done. And within that 28, there's only like about 4 that's about hitting the 2000s or 4 or 5 clips. This is like not even, you know what I mean? Like, we're still in the 80s, guys. Like, we're barely touching the 90s at this point. You know what I mean? I think this is the first time anyone's talked about, like, again, these are conversations that maybe Caesar, Willpower, maybe Storm, maybe Float at the time, maybe Lino. But again, this is the first time we're actually like curating it and documenting it on YouTube, right?
For people to really see, and to give credibility, like, obviously these guys have a good standing in the b-boy community, or should, and are definitely deserve our respect, right? But these are the videos that align with the stories. These are the, as you've been saying, or people say, the receipts now, right?
Right.
And so anyways, I'll let you carry on, but
no, keep going, man. Because like, so the whole thing is why I brought Shonsky in is because of this, because he even dropped a bomb on me. I remember. So here's a story real quick. Like, I remember we were doing Gearheads. It was me and Jay Soul. And we had Floor Rock on, and he was talking about one of the guys from Vegas doing an air track. The way he did the air track was from going to a windmill 90, but kind of like over rotating and then catching, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. He's like, yeah, that's 96 or 95. I got receipts on it, and I believe him. He's not one to lie.
Yeah.
But this actually blows that story away, because it's not even that's Floor Rock talking about it versus like, yo, we just pulled it out.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. So another thing, go ahead, Sean.
Oh, no. I was just gonna say, like, there's other instances of that. Again, going back to Second to None real quick, my man, Ice Kid D, Daryl, he did one of the Africa Center shows, and our man Renegade would definitely know about it because it was his party.
Word.
And so there was a jam at Africa Center, and Daryl does this like mad combo, and something else I wanted to add in there. But so he does like a windmill swipe, and instead of a 90, he slips out and basically does an air track.
Word.
And it was 96. And again, Renegade can correct me on this one. But yeah, I think it was 96 at Africa Center. But yeah, 90-ish thing, but he slips and like catches on the opposite hand.
Right.
I mean, it was just perfect star
Renegade
shape.
says, you know too much. Dude, this is why he's on the show. This is what I'm telling you. This is why he's on the show. This is why he's on the show, right? Again, these are conversations I would have with like Renegade or something, you know what I mean? Or like, but again, these conversations aren't documented. And on top of that, you're bringing the receipts, bro.
Yeah.
And so the receipts.
That one I failed to add to the list, but it is out there. Please, as a matter of fact, I posted a bit of what was from Kilo's. There's this graph writer out there, shout out to Kilo, really cool dude, who put together this video magazine called 183 Video Magazine for graph. But in Visual Graphics 13, Visual Graphics was his mag. 183 is an Australian one. Visual Graphics 13 had the Africa Center Jam Second to None show in it. and that's where you can find this air track happening.
Dude, give it up to Shonsky, man.
Yeah.
All right, so I've shown this clip before, but let's talk about it because and I'm gonna give a little bit context to this story. I remember I was talking to Storm one time, and we talked about Ozrock, and again we mentioned Ozrock earlier, and he was like, I thought I made up Munch Mills. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
Storm said that. Like, I thought I made up Munch Mills until I saw the footage of Ozrock, and I'm gonna pull. And this is kind of this footage I pulled it out before, right, on Gearheads. But it's funny because it's kind of like the 80s and the thought of innovation versus fashion. You're like more functionality. So we have Ozrock doing Munch Mills right now, and mind you, he's in a Speedo, so don't mind that. But yet, it is documented, right? It is documented. Here's Ozrock doing Munch Mills in a Speedo. Boom. I mean, the legs aren't fully closed yet. You know what I mean? The legs aren't fully closed, but yet he is doing them.
He's damn close, and I think the locking the legs is a refinement. You know what I mean? Just like people do tombstones slightly separated or locked. So
yeah. And just to let you know, I'm not going to show that clip, but Caesar talks about how they were attempting the aerial back then.
Yes, right? And that's in this same video.
Yeah. They attempted, but then Caesar actually perfected it. And if you don't know what the aerial is, or the Cortez, which is the double windmill, and we see people still like maybe some of the kids from Belgium can do continuous, right? But someone like Luigi had brought it back in style. Ben was doing it.
Ben Stash.
Caveman, to me, was a guy that was like innovating from where it was coming from. Like, he would 90 into it, 90 shoulder into it. You know what I mean? So
that dude, I mean, we could do a whole video just on him and his contributions. We got the jumping beans mill variation from shoulder to shoulder, and
and again, this is it still relates to Ozrock, right? It's still from that family tree of Air Force, LAB, and Ozrock. Like, it's still from that, because it's like, even though they're not the same crew, it's the same regional area, right? They're all from LA. You know what I mean? So, give a shout out to Air Force and stuff, which I'm about to, I might as well pull up right now. Because now we're talking about Rhode Island transfer to LA.
Oh, but also don't forget Florida. And I'm pretty sure Miami, but there's a really awesome article I got to send you later that Speedy Legs, I think, contributed, as well as perhaps some other people. But it talks about Ozrock passing through and his contributions to that scene.
Oh, really?
As well as I think they talk about the Kid Freeze coming through.
Right.
I have to reread the document. I want to make sure I'm not crossing wires, but I'm pretty sure it's a really thorough article. And
this is was it for B-Boy Pro-Am or like magazine? Was it like
No. It was an actual legit like newspaper article from 2021 or something. Yeah, I'll shoot it to you later, and but
I'll put it out there on my Instagram and on my YouTube and stuff like that. Please. Just the snippet of it on my community tab.
Because a lot of us go Rhode Island straight to LA, but he did contribute to the Florida scene as well.
Right. Cool, man. See, that's why I have him now. There's too many moves on this video.
I know, man.
I gotta pull it up. Why? Because it's Bay Area history.
Yes.
So here's the thing, and this is around 85. Again, we're still in the 80s, but I'm gonna go for, because even
there's one segment where it starts off with like the body glide mills. Yeah. But then it goes right into windmill 90, flare 90, like
let's
all
go to
in like
2803. Let's go there. It's like a little bit later in the video, but that's where it gets pretty
gets
advanced.
It gets
advanced real quick, right?
Yeah.
So again, if you don't know about floor rockers being from San Jose, California, and this is a foundation for a lot of the guys out here in the Bay Area.
Yes.
This is where you get Sean Ortiz, which leads to So the guy like Sean Ortiz, and he's in this video, right?
Mhm.
And this is 85. But then we go into the 90s. Who did Sean Ortiz influence? He influenced Elmer. He influenced Jazzy J. And after Jazzy J, you got everyone else, right? You get your Geralds, you get your Ruins, you get Poison, you get all these guys. And we talked about it. This like kind of like instead of fast power, which is like your multiple magnets, which is like more of a European style.
Yep.
This is that stretched out, use your flexibility, Flare 90 flare power.
Yes. Yes.
And this is not even like people call it West Coast, but I think it's like more Northern California style of power. You know what I mean? Because Caesar's still close to like even Willpower is like the one that was like kind of closer to that. But Robbie and Caesar were just about speed. You know what I mean? Like fast head spins, diamond head spins, L head spins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, hopefully, if we have time, we can jump back to the Air Force clip to see some of the other guys that might be lesser known in the 80s. But let's jump into this one for sure. We have to jump into this one.
So now we're going to go to Sidewalk Breakers. And again, San Jose, California. Right here. Let's start from here. All right. So again, see advanced footwork to.
Oh, that's.
Dude.
I think this might be a little later.
Yodas to Flare. Still, but like, here's the thing. The fact that we're talking about the meetings of both worlds is like they have really clean footwork that is almost like on that, oh my God, on that level, right? The footwork's on that, even that freeze right there. You've seen Remind kind of be influenced by this as well, right?
You see jackhammers right here.
Yeah. I think that was Money B.
Yeah, I think it was.
Sure. Yeah.
This is John. Oh, right.
Again,
so this, we're going to go into, I think, pretty close to where the boomerangs are. And it starts turning into like walk style battle.
And this is 85, Chuck E. Cheese, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Chuck E. Cheese off of Tully, if I'm not mistaken.
I remember I showed Flea Rock this video and he was tripping out. He was like, this was 85? I go, yeah. Because the thing is, it wasn't just the power moves. He was looking at the footwork.
There's the hurricane.
He was looking at the footwork too, like, they're doing both. They're good at footwork and power. It's like, they almost look like legs or Kenny, but with like power. Yeah. And obviously you see the influence on Renegades at Radiotron when they wore the spandex was because of Sidewalk.
Yeah. And I mean, Sway was rocking the spandex as well at the Radiotron. Yep. And God, and what I'm curious about,
and that's the thing. We didn't see the clear footage like this, so we thought that was a little lep. We just like, that's a little lep. He just got better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what we were thinking. Like, oh my God, no one does bridges like that no more. Too like from that swipe intro, dude. I wish I had that flexibility.
So
like even stuff like this, just little different ways to get into stuff.
Kind of an L sit walk there,
right?
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of gems in here. At some point, I don't know if I gave you all the timestamps, but we should see a boomerang come up.
All right, let's see. Let me look at that. I'm gonna let this ride just because, this is fun to watch. But let me see where you possibly could have put the boomerang. Maybe at 34.
It's towards the end, yeah.
Okay. So let's go to 34:20. I think it's probably there. 34:20. Right here. And this is where they're doing flips and stuff. Yeah, this is definitely the turtle battle, right? Or the walk battle.
Yeah, it starts happening over here. And but then I do want to go back to the Mill 90 and the Flare 90.
Right.
Which is earlier. Yeah,
right there. Start of a boomerang.
So he does one, then Sean Ortiz comes out.
Oh my God. Right?
Like right there.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what he was going for. Right. And
it took till the 90s for kids to like, well, who was a guy who did it out here?
But go ahead.
Was a guy named Abe from Jughead.
Yes, of course, from Jugheads. Yeah. He
was the one that would kind of continue those walks. You know what I mean? He kind of like, he did, and that's who influenced actually Glide was Abe.
Okay. Yep.
Because Abe was hitting like, for like he was like the walking dude. Yes.
Yeah, like the between the knees or the knees between the arms.
Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously, him being from San Jose, there's no way that they weren't influenced by Sidewalk. Because I think, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like, you know, we didn't know that at the time. When we first saw Abe, we were just like, that guy's just amazing. Like, he
yeah,
has all the walks. He
yeah,
could walk
yeah,
on the side. He could do Buddhas. He could do UFOs
yeah,
or Yodas. He could, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, he could do boomerangs. You know what I mean? Like, he was doing the L sit freaking. He did the L
yeah.
sit walks.
Oh, so that's footage I haven't seen yet of him doing that. But
Yeah, no, he's done that before.
yeah,
And this is
sweet.
92. You know what I mean?
Okay,
This is
yeah,
like 92, 93. And I mean, he was like, you know, kind of like the theme of Abe was he was a one trick pony, right? He was just like
oh,
the
okay,
walk master.
yeah,
But now reflecting back on it, it's the fact that you know, Sidewalk is a direct connection to Jughead.
yes, yes,
Do you know what I mean? Like the
exactly.
San Jose Powermove style was
Hmm.
because Jughead, which is like which leads to Tootie, which leads to like, you know what I mean? There's a bunch of guys from Jughead that were like maybe not the main Sidewalk, but definitely influenced by Sidewalk because they were such a big name in San Jose, you know?
Yeah, and also in a roundabout way, influenced the guys, the last generation of Jugheads, which is who I met,
Right.
the DeFranco twins, and
Right.
that's Sonic and Philip. I think his break name was like Super Phil. Um, it's been a while, but Sonic was just he evolved super quick. You can see through several best of the bests how he just evolved, and he was, among other things, in the discussions that I vaguely remember with him, he was like trying to get to the jazzy level and beyond. And
Right.
he, is probably one of the first people that, again, these slower but very calculated power combos, super open, up and down. I mean, windmill 90, flare 90, trying to hit boomerangs out. I mean, he probably must have done 90s down to boomerangs as well. Just like mental combos
Right.
that, I was watching Jazzy J do, but I would see this guy in real life right in front of me, just
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway.
All right. So we went from the Bay Area and
Yeah.
mind you, I can't go back because that's the only way I can know the marker of the videos. I just X out the tab. You know what I mean? Just to let you
Oh,
know,
you
Sean.
missed
Yeah.
the Mill 90 and the Flare 90. That was like,
Yeah, but we had
okay,
my whole thing is
okay.
we saw we
Sean Retief
saw
and the
Orko
Boomerang.
do it.
Orko, right, right,
We
right.
seen Orko do it. So I just don't want to
Yeah,
kind of repeat moves, even though they did it cleaner. Obviously, Sidewalk did it cleaner because that
yeah,
was an attempt versus actually executing. But
yeah. And
I
that's when it got really crazy. Like people just ramped up right after that.
yeah.
Um, what they were throwing out. But anyways, go.
Yeah. So right now, what we're going to show, because we talked about it earlier,
Mm-hmm.
we talked about Australia. We
Yes.
talked about how those videos got there. And even though this is not a crazy combo that hasn't been done, but we are going to talk about form right now. And this is
Yeah.
something that the Australians seem to kind of have on lock was the
And
form.
I'll
Let's
try to
go for that.
illuminate some things.
Yeah. As I set up the video, go ahead. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, again, not from there, but what I've seen and what I believe to be true in my discussions with these people. So we're talking about Brisbane here. So Duel did bring the video back to Melbourne, which is like mad far from Brisbane, but it got up there. But there's a guy up there, Peter Frickman, in mid and late 80s breaking. And Peter Frickman was a real stickler for this straight, perfect form.
Right.
The clip that I put up here, if you go back to the World Expo clip, you'll just see him do like some crickets, and then he'll do like this one-hand hand glide thing.
Right.
But if you look at his flares, they're perfect, like perfectly straight. Not
In
the
this
most
clip.
flexible dude, but perfectly straight flares.
Is it coming up? Oh, right.
No, it's in the prior clip. It's in the clip before this. But
I think I X'd it. My bad. But sorry.
it's all
Holy
right.
crap, though. And we're still talking. This is starting the 90s, or
so no, this would have been during that kind of dark ages period,
right,
from 87 to 92, 93. I don't know when the things came back up. This is I'm pretty sure this is James right here. So this is C's, one of the
Right.
twins.
Right.
And then the other guy that's doing the hand glide or the hand spin, no glove,
Right.
that's Scan.
Right.
And Scan
Okay.
actually came through to the Bay right here.
Okay, word.
He's from the Gold Coast, and that's about 40 minutes away from Brisbane, give or take.
Right. Okay.
Now, go ahead.
So this video says it's 1992.
Yeah, at this point.
1992. Yeah, 1992.
So they had some time to like improve on what they were working on and all that.
Right.
But in Scan there was a guy, Grant. They were in this crew called Smurfs that merged with a crew. 2 seconds. Smurfs started in New Zealand in a town, Wellington. It's at the very southern tip of the North Island of New Zealand. So my man Donovan Ray and his brother Jay Ray moved from there to Gold Coast, and their mom like opened up a video shop in this like what they called an arcade, I guess, but like just a building that had a marble floor and a couple shops in this video shop. So Peter Frickman met Scan up in Brisbane, but then Frickman went down to Gold Coast, met up with the boys down there, Scan, E.T., and Donovan, etc. And some of these members merged together to make B-Boy All-Stars. And B-Boy All-Stars was a combination of Inner City Funk and The Stuff, which was Peter Frickman's crew. The Twins joined. And then there was our friends from Smurfs that all kind of merged and made this B-Boy All-Stars thing. Now, there's other clips on my channel that highlight just how many of these.
Towards the end of the show, I will show a clip of your channel so you can like and subscribe to him, because obviously you have obviously more footage coming, right?
Thanks, man. Yes, I got plenty of stuff that I'm going to
That's all we want to hear.
Yeah.
That's all we want to. There's more clips, right?
So the thing I just want to say is like what's important about their execution and their perfect form between all these members that were repping at the time was that they were trying to break at a time when breaking wasn't cool.
Right.
Just like our friends Second to None in South England, in Bournemouth. And they couldn't do anything less than what was purely awesome to the non-B-boy, right? So they had to have excellent form on flares, head spins, windmills, body glides. And it just looked like so amazing, like textbook perfect, and only then could it turn heads and gain respect at a time when people were just like, oh, breaking's so played out, it's whack. Because in their mind, they're thinking like locking and popping mixed together with like a little 3-step, and they kind of might maybe have this corny image built up of, that kind of idea of breakdance.
Right.
And so these guys were fighting against all that. And the way to cut through that to the person on the street is do awesome power, do it excellent. But also, I have to add that they were also talented graffiti artists as well. So they embraced all elements, and they still are awesome graffiti artists today. Incredible. But they embraced hip hop as an entire culture and had this perfect gymnast form. So just because you're down with power moves doesn't mean it's not mutually exclusive to being down with the elements and
100. 100. It's funny how people think that.
Coming up in our time, people thought you were on, anyways.
Yeah. Real quick to the chat. Renegade says African Center was 1995, the year before UK Champ started.
Thank you.
Daltone says from baby, which move? Because I don't know which, I don't know the time code. I don't know what shit. But so I'm gonna skip over again. I'm just selecting what I find interesting. And again, I gotta always give love to the Bay. We're gonna pick this Raffles clip. Now here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Let me zoom up to me real quick. I was 16 years old and I was at this event. Right? It was Gizmo's birthday party. It was Raffles. The club was called Raffles, and who was there was Easy Rock. Well, let's start with the Sidewalk, or start with Jughead. We got Tootie there, Easy Rock, Lil Caesar, Crazy Legs, Vic from Renegades, um, Fresh,
Yes.
Freeze, Nonstop.
Nonstop.
This is the one of the first Zulu Nation, West Coast Zulu Nation, meetings that happened before Gizmo's birthday party. Shout out to Alex Aquino. I've seen him around recently. He's thrown together a tribute to the Elements. That was his event. So we're gonna show a little bit of raffles. You got a time code, but I just want to show like some of the stuff that was there.
Oh, okay.
Starting a little bit before your time code that you.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. It's right here. Definitely Junk has posted this up, but then again, I was there. So there goes Caesar. Again, this is 1992. Windmill flare, body glide. This is the first time I've seen a body glide.
Oh, seriously?
Actually at this event.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Dang.
Yeah. There goes Crazy Legs, and he does a body glide too. So I was like, "What the hell is that move?" Because we were used to Beat Street at the time.
Right.
Look at the flexibility. All right. So that was like one of the movements, right? You want to show windmill flare, right?
Yeah, but actually 3 important things happen here, which I think Fresh is going to do right now. The lights are dim. It's not the best angle, but I'm pretty sure he just tried his critical there.
Critical, right.
Yes.
And he created the critical.
Now, back to back, check it, nonstop, does an air track.
Right.
Okay. Caesar, in a moment, does the aerial.
Yes.
All 3 these dudes came up from LA and they're like, yo, we're getting airborne. Every which way.
Yeah, I think this might be my highlight clip right there. Yeah. He completes it kind of. Like there's a little bit of a scrape, but this is a continuation of what Oz Rock was attempting to, right?
Exactly. In that same clip where he does the baby mills, Oz Rock does.
Right.
But he calls it a critical in that video.
Right.
But we know it today is the aerial.
Yeah. And that's Easy Rock right there. Here goes Easy Rock, or AKA B-Boy Axis. Yep. Dickies and Cortez out, right? Like Dickie and Cortez out, right? Just that culture before. That clean footwork. All right. Crazy. All right. So dude, that was perfect. Actually, I think that might be my highlight clip I'm posting tomorrow. Right. That back to back like critical aerial,
air track, like
air
all
track.
3. It's like all different levels, all different starting points.
And this is 1992. And here's the thing, I think what's different, because if you watch the same footage, the same time frame as a Battle Squad, as a Second to None, as the Australian All-Stars, that's a difference, right? Everyone's clean, but you could see the attempts of going to the air.
Yes, you can. And oh man, there's so much. Just for the record, real quick, Battle Squad, Swift and Storm each had their version of doing an air track.
Right. True.
And that's something that I meant to get on that second iteration of the list. But basically, I did want to document that in Europe, they were rocking it around this same time period.
Yeah.
As I understand it, Swift pointed to Pascal from Actual Force, right?
Right. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Pascal as being the inspiration for what he was doing. When they went to New York, that is Swift and Storm went to New York in '88, and they linked up with Quickstep, and they had that battle with Swift does the air track in that.
Right. Oh, okay. Is this the Zulu anniversary?
No. It was like an impromptu battle at some dance studio thing.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's at the beginning. If you ever watch Seven Gems, it's in the intro of the Seven Gems videos.
Right.
That Wiggles and Rocksteady was putting out. Also, for the record, my man James B-Boy C's 90, very late. I think it was in the 90s, early 90s, and I have it also on my channel. He does a flare air tracky attempt super early on.
Right.
And it's low, but he flares damn near his 90s and just chucks it.
Wow.
So, just for the record.
Crazy. See that this is the thing you don't realize. As you're talking, I'm looking for these clips, and you're just
Yeah,
like getting exact
yeah,
moments. That's a
yeah,
flex right there. You're
yeah.
flexing. Like you're like,
Oh
well,
man.
this happened. While
Well,
I'm looking for it. That's flexing, bro.
yeah. Well, all I'm saying is like, there's a lot of people around the world doing it. And again, I'm not just plugging these people because I know them. I'm actually, because I know of them, I want to give them their due props, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
There's some other cats I put in later, like Brazilian guys that made their contributions. Just a couple that I could.
We might have to do a part 2 for that because we're already almost like an hour 30
I
in.
know, man.
And we're
It
not,
just it gets
dude.
deep.
We're not even at the 2000s yet.
I know. So I'll let you carry on, man.
Yeah.
You lead.
But so the next clip because it's good that you know what I like about this the list you sent me. You're listing the moves. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm just like grabbing the moves that are talking to me. And the next one is 1993, and it's Willpower, and he's doing the L-sit.
Yes, the L-sit walk. Yep.
Yes, and then we just talked about that. We just talked about
Yep.
Abe doing that. So here's Willpower doing that, the L-sit walk. Damn, Will had good flares, bro.
Oh, incredible form.
Right here.
And right here. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Let's see. There we go.
Nice, bro. That was dope.
Yeah. And again, just for the sake of trying to document what we can here, as I understand it, he got that move actually from Chuco. Bop and Chuco, the popper.
Okay. Right.
Chuco. Just for reference, Will can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when I asked him, where'd you come up on that? I think he actually gave the props or the inspiration credit to Chuco, who was b-boying as well as popping,
Yes.
So
yeah.
mad respect, and had some pretty significant skills. So.
Word. All right. So okay. Not to cut off a lot of the research you've done, but I think right now what I'm looking at is a lot of the air flare stuff.
Mm.
And to me, right now, like I'm kind of like I think we understand, pretty much. Like, I mean, honestly, you ended it with the Glasgow footage. To me, that was like I was like just game over. Like we don't have to show any more air flares. It's like
all right.
You know what I mean? Because we already know, like, people have put it out there. You know what I'm saying? And at this point, in my opinion, just to go, okay, I'm just gonna show the list real quick. That way, I'm not shortchanging you. I'm showing the list to the public right now because it's kind of like what you had in store, and this is stuff you guys can look up. But if you notice, I'm gonna zoom up a little bit right here. Elbow flare 93, which is dope. But when we get into the 95, right? This is what most of the people really understand now, right? Like,
yes.
If you're 35 and 36, you kind of grew up on this right here, just this generation right here. You kind of grew up, and if you guys want to screenshot it, you can. Here, let me do a full blown out page. If you want to do a screenshot, you could go ahead. But go ahead, Sean.
Oh, and I just want to say this is by no means complete. This is what I was trying to put together in the last 24 hours for you.
Oh, shit.
For this episode.
Right.
So, I did get into the weeds, but that's kind of what it is though, right? Because you open Pandora's box when what's the difference from, Hurricane, and how does that evolve to maybe a elbow track, or how does chair track differ from air flare and air track from air flare? So anyways.
Yeah, here's this list right here. I just want to show this list real quick. This is the list that if you are 25, 26, 27, and you have OGs that guided you, this is the stuff that they watched right here. Yeah. This is this is where you put me and Sean at. This footage. We're just hardcore to get deeper. Yeah. That's the only difference. But this is like our basic stuff right here. This is like our foundation. Like Jazzy J is a foundation. What we did for you guys is we led the narrative to this time. This is the VHS era. These are the tapes that are being passed around or sold at a Mr. Rags behind the post office. You know what I mean? Like this is
Yeah.
the graffiti shops, the skate shops. This is right here is what we. This is our access, right? This is the
Yeah.
time. This is right here is the VHS period, right here. That Soul Control, you could buy that somewhere. That they like Caesar sold it, right? The Radiotrons. The Run DMC video that was on MTV, right? That
Right.
was on European MTV, especially European MTV.
Yes.
You know what I mean? With Cujo on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say Willpower is also in that as well.
Word. But
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is what I'm saying. This is like,
But
this is the dogma from this period. Let
Yeah.
alone if I ask a lot of people throwing the dogma from this period that I just showed, they can't tell us about anything prior to this period. This is my complaint. Like y'all like saying this, and that, yet you're not going above 95. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might have gotten that Raffles tape, but that's about it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's where for myself, you know, I was really like, as somebody who grew up on, you know, Jazzy J for Bay Area as being kind of like what I aspired to be, you know, and Swift Rock was like really my German, like, how do I say, inspiration for Germany. And not to say that there's countless other people who are awesome out there. You know, Enemy Squad was just incredible. They always got to the finals in Battle of the Year.
Right.
Had crazy skills. But I had the Swift Rock individual tape, and
Right.
what he did with combos was just always amazed me.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah. No. So you know, we're at 1:30. We're about to wrap it up a little bit in a little bit. I just want to show one more clip before I show this last clip. This is what I'm going to show as the last clip. Okay, it's the last one that you put up. So what do you want to say now? We went kind of through this journey, right? We went from like, and here's the thing, this wasn't basic. Like, you know what I mean? We skipped over a lot of the basic stuff, and we went for like highlights in time and a timeline of advanced stuff that people are doing today. You know what I mean? Like you showed like the relativity of like, hey, you guys think you're being original. Actually, it was done back then. And here's the proof of it. This is not just words. We actually showed receipts. You showed receipts. And now I think people in the chat and no understand why I brought you on now. They're like, holy, like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, if they think they're impressed by me talking. So when you're like getting exact and showing the list, you're like, damn, this guy really knows what he's talking about. So because we talked about this yesterday, what's some of the things you want to say before we wrap it up and show this last clip? What's something you want to say that you know, because we talked about like competition. I talked about this with JSOL too. Competition shapes the style and the evolution of breaking, and we're both not necessarily from that era. Right. So for instance, Shonsky, like, you know, you still rock a helmet. You know what I'm saying? Like you still got the Protect joint, right? Like, you know what I mean? That's what we used to do in the, you know, early 90s. Yeah. And, you know, for a long time, people were like, probably didn't understand your goals, right? Because Specialized would say 10 years ago, it was just nothing but competition. And if you didn't do competition, you're kind of like, well, you're a Cypher B-boy. And that's even different from even what, you know, what you were doing. So what's some of the words you want to say to the audience and what you would like to see? You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. Yeah, wow, big question. No, that's cool. So, you know, I said this saying to you yesterday and in previous conversations, you know, it's like, be the change you want to see in the scene, right? So, I like power moves, and I like them. I'm like to a level of like an enthusiast, you know, I want to dig, I want to learn where they came from. I want to hear each person's story. You know, the moves that I learned from people personally or through videos, there's somebody who taught them, and then people before those people, you know. So what I try to do for myself, the thing I want to bring to the scene and hopefully inspire others to do is try to flip the different move combinations that are possible, what's really out there, you know. So for example, I like to do like combine things that don't necessarily go together, like a Buddha spin to try to do it to a halo, to try to do it to a turtle, to a 90, to a boomerang, you know, something weird, right? I try to get different shapes that juxtapose each other. It might not look like they flow together, but just to create different types of combos that might not look like the power moves go together at first glance. Does that make
Oh
sense
yeah.
at all?
Oh
You
yeah.
know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
So
and
so you're basically talking about like just the creativity of it,
yes, in a,
right?
I probably should
Challenging
have just said
yourself
that.
in a way, in a creative way, right? Versus like
Right.
what everyone else is doing, right?
Yeah. And I know a lot of people say that as
Right.
well, and they work towards that. That's the obvious thing. But um, I guess, also appreciate the possibilities in breaking and the artistry in it. And don't, in this day and age, it's kind of hard that, a
Right.
lot of people are really driven by competition,
Yep.
being known, winning
Yep.
things.
Yep.
And I just wish that, I hope that a lot of people love the game and the breaking as deeply as we do, and don't pin all that, the satisfaction that they get out of it or all the love for it just based on winning and
Right.
being known.
Right.
Enjoy the art, like enjoy the exploring what's possible in breaking. I don't, yeah. Sorry, I guess I wasn't really prepared for that, answering that question,
I
but
mean, you're gonna answer the next time, like, but so, and just to like let you know, like, that's why with Sean, he connects with me to, he'll go out to Kizar where I'm training, and actually, if you guys notice, like, if my power move level game is increasing, is Sean's actually one of the guys who helps me hit that, right? Like yesterday was like, definitely like two things I never thought I could do, and I'm at 47, right? Like one is that I kept talking shit about turtles, like I don't practice turtles. I haven't touched turtles in a year, right? Or floats or whatever. And Sean was like, "Hey, why don't you try a flare from there? Since you always doing stab to flare, why don't you turtle to flare?" I was like, "Okay," and I did it. It wasn't the cleanest. I'm not gonna say it was the cleanest, right? It was just, but I was
it,
surprised to
it
do
was,
it.
yeah,
I was just
it,
surprised to do it at 47. Then that made me go, "Well, if I could turtle to flare, why don't I try to halo to flare?" You know
yeah,
what I mean? And I went for gusto. I didn't just, and that's how I like to challenge myself. I didn't just go Halo Flare. I was like, let's see if I can flare Halo Flare.
right,
Again, I eked out a flare from the Halo, but again, I've never done it.
yeah,
At least I have a feeling of what it is, right? Even though I muscled it, it wasn't like pure technique, but just kind of leading to the technique, like the precursors to like getting a movement. You know what I mean? And Sean's a big component of that.
uh, thanks, man. But honestly, dude, you learned it in minutes on your own, and you said you never did it never did it before. So, um, yeah, good on you, man. That was a dope moment, though.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
So and that's what I'm saying. It's just like, and if we had the philosophy, it's like, oh, he just does power moves. I want to learn it, and
Yeah,
that's always been me though. I never been
yeah,
like, oh, you do. No, it's like you get to know a person and you respect the skill set. You know what I mean? And that's how we grow, and that's how we build, and that's how we break bread. And I just want to demonstrate that. That's another thing. A lot of people know me as a forward guy, but if you noticed, the last few years, it's not been just footwork. It's been like, how do I mix everything together? And again, that's because I value my growth. And if I were to listen to, like, you want to be the change, like you said, I want to be the change instead of complaining about something, and learning these skill sets makes me a better judge, right? Some people don't
mhm,
believe that, but I believe that, like, it, because now I understand how hard it is, right? Physically. So it's just like you open your mind, you get to know people. We don't have to do like, what we're just good at.
right.
I challenge you, like you said yesterday, right? You
Mhm.
said try two turtles to a flare. Now try two turtles to two flares, right? All right, shoot. And then
Yeah,
honestly, I wouldn't have thought of that. I would just be like, I'm just going to keep it simple. But again, when you interact with different people, you grow in different ways. And I think that's, we're starting, in my opinion, my whole thing is I hope we stop the tribalism with a lot of the stuff that in our own beliefs. We just have to grow. You know what I'm saying? All right. Before we wrap it up, our last clip, Dalton says, so fresh. Break Bread TV, we got my man Kobe. Your boy Kobe says, hey,
yo, what's happening, man?
solid. Okay.
Yo, thanks.
So before I
Yeah.
show this last clip, and I can't believe you found this clip again. This is a good
Oh,
clip. Um, I'm gonna give a shout out to Break Connect. I'll
mm,
consider this the Break Connect clip of the day right here. The Break Connect clip of the day. and this is, let's describe it, the inverted air flare. We kind of talked about this, so let's talk about it real quick before we show it.
So, yeah, there's big shout out to my man. God, there's like several guys. B9 from SAC, Sacktown Breakaholics, and crazy story behind this. So you may remember in early 2000s, B-Boy Frog was the first guy I saw it from TIP, but there was this like vertical style one-hand air flare that people were doing for a very short time before the big jump one-hand air flares.
Right.
So my man B saw that and was like, yo, I want to do it different. So he went off what would be the catching hand and flipped under it and turned it into a one-hand air flare.
And what year is this?
I don't know when he created it, but I'm
with this clip
this clip is 2011, 2010.
Nice.
Okay. Now there's 3 other dudes in his crew that all learned it.
Wow.
And Johnny, Preston, my man Peter. There's a funny story how I met Peter, and it was basically because he did that move out here in San Francisco.
Excuse me.
Yeah, no problem.
And here it is.
Oh yeah, here's Johnny. I asked him just to kind of demo how you do it, you know?
Wow. This is a city dance, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And here's B, and then I think you see maybe Preston as well do it. Oh yeah, crap. I guess I only put B in there.
And that was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Holy crap. And now we're seeing it resurface 12 years later.
Yeah. Kids in Russia, I know this one dude, Gekon, that I've been watching recently. Somar is starting to do an inverted air flare in his combos. Or maybe he's been doing it a while, but I noticed it only recently. There's countless other people, I'm sure, but those are just 2 names I could drop off the top of my head.
But at that time, that's a receipt, basically. That's a receipt.
And they're basically right here, 916. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Kobe says SB crew.
Yep.
Preston.
Yes.
He says B-Boy Lightning.
Exactly. Who was at the beginning?
He used to go by B-Boy 9.
That's B, the guy that was at the end doing 2 of them in a row.
Shout out to Kobe for that. So that's what I'm saying now. Like, you know, dude, we highlighted 83 to 2011. And we skipped over a lot. We skipped over basically 95 to 2011. We skipped a lot.
There's and so much
more. Like I said, we still haven't covered like variations of windmill. We just, you know, we just went for like stuff that relates now, which is dope. To me, that's dope because, like, you know, not a lot of people do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not a lot of people understood that the creativity was back then too. It's just now people like, as the scene gets younger, because it is, and they have the balance, flexibility, mobility, and you start younger, you could probably achieve some of these things faster than faster than I could ever get. You know what I mean? Like, right?
Yeah.
So faster than, like, you know, the guys that are 25 now. Like these kids, like, you know, someone like a Wilson or a Kid Break or a Babalu. Here's the challenge. They don't have access to this footage, so they don't think in that creative way.
Right.
They're just relying on their teachers that only went up to 95.
Yeah.
And maybe they see something from Korean rock versus like us. We come prior to that, and then we dig in the weeds and access more different movements that haven't been done. And I think that's why you gotta give a shout out to Sean. Here, let me pull up his YouTube channel so you can see it. Actually, let's go to Sean's YouTube channel.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Because here's the thing, man. You know, you have a wealth of knowledge, and we're at a time and age where, like you said, we're starting to explore something different than just competition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once the Olympics comes into play, it's almost like you know, we do need historians, we do need coaches, we do need judges, we need some people outside of just battling, right?
Yeah.
And spreading your crew's agenda. Because
Yeah.
right now it's like, you know, like I said, you know, this is the first time, you know, when I went to Up and Comer, that's the first time there was like people coming from schools, b-boy schools,
Yeah.
versus just like crews. The lineage
Crazy.
isn't crew anymore. It's like
Yeah.
break free school, you know, the zoologic school, the alchemy school. These are all schools. They're not like, some of them might be Battleborn and alchemy, but not all of them are Battleborn, but they're from the school that's
Right.
from Battleborn. And right here you could see B-Boy Shonsky's YouTube channel right here. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to copy and paste this, and oops, go back so you can check out his channel right there. Let me click it one more time. Hold on. Sorry, man. Navigating is hard to navigate, and what you call it? Let me copy it. And what I'm going to do right now is, if you want to follow Shonsky, I'm going to put it in the. I shared the link on the comments, so you can just click on that link, and it'll go to his page, and you can go ahead and follow him. He has a lot of dope videos, and he's going to be sharing a lot more clips.
Yes.
And how many? Okay, let's just.
Yeah.
Let me just ask you, how many VHSs that you haven't uploaded yet?
Yeah.
You see, he had to think about it, like, oh.
Yeah. God, probably like 20 or 30
tapes.
Maybe. Swear to God.
Tapes.
Yeah, tapes that I have not uploaded.
All right. You gotta
like
give this
individual
guy a
tapes.
Give this guy a follow.
Yeah. I'm getting through it slow. I go in phases of what I feel inspired to upload, you know. And so you're going to see, like right now, you're seeing the Australian run because of my recent connection to the Twins.
Right.
And so I'm just like, oh, get a tape in the mail, convert it. As you know, I went to Australia a couple weeks ago. They gave me 10 tapes in person. They passed them off to me, and I had to haul them through the airport security, and like, you know, so anyways, yeah. There's plenty of stuff to come.
All right. So before we wrap it up, is there anything else you'd like to say to the audience before we go?
I just want to thank you for giving me a chance to share. I know it was a bit, how do I say, broken in the communication and trying to highlight. I had something written down of how I expected it to go, and of course it.
Yeah.
But that's
Sorry
what's
about
great.
that.
No, and it's good because you know, it's our thing we're discussing, and that's these conversations naturally have threads that go places, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Thank you for sharing the platform first and foremost. Again, all of this that we discussed today, there's really no agenda behind it other than just here's some things to look into. You know, the names, there's so many other people that deserve props, probably closer than you know, that were innovators, pioneers. So please fill in the gaps, the places that we missed, share the knowledge, and you know, let's keep this discussion going.
Yeah. Like, we might have to do move specific episodes, man. Like it looks like we might have to do move specific, because we just went like, I think even for the audience, they're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we might have to do move specific episodes, which is it's a freedom of YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So before we sign out, they can follow you on Instagram right here at B-Boy Shonsky. All right, cool. And before I sign out, I just want to say again, 89% of you are not subscribed. So please like, share it, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at PROFO_FLGZ. This has been The Trades, a Powermove history with B-Boy Shonsky. And again, this Wednesday, we got Break Battle Royale right here on the Profo One channel. I just want to say thanks for everyone for tuning in.
Yes.
Peace, and see you guys later.
Thanks. Peace, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, man.